Welcome to the MBA50 Business School video interviews. It's my pleasure to be here with Paul Danos, the Dean of the Tuck School of Business, who's been at the school for 18 years and is perhaps the longest standing Dean of a top business school. Paul, it's a great pleasure to be with you. Back in 1995, it was the year that Yahoo was created, and social media probably meant journalists going to the pub. But over the last 18 years, your thoughts on Tuck and what makes it a special place to be at?
Tuck has always been a personal place. 113 years since we started the MBA program in 1900, and it was very personal when I arrived, a class of 180 and a faculty of around 30. And Tuck always had that tradition of tremendous support from its alumni, many generations, and it still has that. It has the highest support of any school in the world. Over 70% of the alumni actually contribute to the school every year. And so Tuck has still that feeling with 280 students in a class and about 50 faculty plus others. So Tuck has grown quite a bit. Our campus has grown quite a bit. But it still has that feeling of every individual getting a unique experience. I think that's the main thing that's made Tuck successful, is we've kept our eye on making the experience for every student is the best possible 2 years of leadership education we possibly could.
As you look back over the last 18 years, has there been a particular surprise or challenge that Tuck has faced, and perhaps business education more broadly?
Yes. I think two things are mega trends that I've seen that's changing the face of all of higher education. One is globalization. But we've absorbed globalization. It's become part of what we do. Over 30% of our faculty are from other countries. 35% of our students are from other countries. And now all the businesses that hire Tuck students have more business outside of the U.S. than they have inside. That's a change. People are going from Tuck directly to other countries. And the world has absorbed this MBA mentality. If you want a 30-year-old with 5 or 6 years of experience and 2 years of education, these people hit the ground running. These are good young leaders that you can put anywhere in the world, and that's happening now. Before it was, I'd say 40 years ago, it was mostly a US and a little bit of Western Europe type of phenomenon. Now it's a world phenomenon. So globalization is one, and the other now, more and more, is technology. Technology has been absorbed in the sense of computing, but now it's communications technology. It's actually changing the way courses are delivered, and eventually it's going to change how programs are structured. There is no doubt that we're going to have hybrid MBA programs at the highest level, and we are experimenting with those things already. So that's changing very fast now.
You're outspoken on the role that business schools can play to tackle some of the major issues of society, and Tuck is one of the founders of the Council on Business and Society. Where do you see that connection between business schools?
I think there's two parts. There's one, the research side. Our faculties at the very best schools, these faculty are working on cutting edge ideas. Most of it's about how to improve business. And improving business has a massive social impact. I mean, I think much of the good that's been done in the last 20 years to save people's lives, to make them more prosperous, has come because business has progressed in many, many parts of the world. So, and faculty are always researching that, et cetera. They're researching best practices. They're making businesses more efficient if you really appreciate the research they do. It really is practical research for the most part. Then there's the actual students themselves. They're agents of good for society, as far as I'm concerned. The students of today are going out as very advanced young leaders who really have been steeped in how business can help the populations they work in. I'm really a believer in that. I think they do more good and increasing good in the world than almost any other agency I can think of.
As you address the graduating class after the 2 years that they've spent here and in the current economy, what career advice do you have for them?
I always tell them to remember that spirit of leadership that you've been involved with at Tuck. You know, make others your focus. Help them create a great organization where they can contribute to their maximum. Don't worry about your part in it. Just help them. Use your skills to help others, and you're going to get ample rewards. To me, it's one of those indirect effects. You don't have to be the one that gets all the glory initially, and you'll get as much glory as you deserve by being a person that sets up the organization in a way that people are mutually supportive. I really believe that.
There's an old Russian saying that the 3 accomplishments of life are to raise a child, to build a house, and to write a book. You're a happy family man with grandchildren now, and to some extent you've contributed to the building of this house at Tuck. Is there a book in you?
Well, there's lots of writing. I love to write. I write for pleasure. I write a lot, of course, for business, and I've written books in the past, but they've been very professional books. So I think in the future, as I retire and as I go on to retired life in a few years, I think I'll be writing more literary and other things just for fun. And I'm not thinking about having a business in writing, because my business, this is my profession, being a leader of a business school. But I like the aspects of writing for this job, and I like the aspects of writing for a wider audience. But that's a whole new career for me. But that's going to be just fun later on. And but I found that it leads to something very important, I think. And that I think many young students, because of the new media, one downside of the new media is people don't take the time to really structure their thoughts into paragraphs and sentences and communicate. I think you can have a tremendous advantage. Anyone can have a tremendous advantage in business as a young person if they would just take a little time to take courses or to take exercises that force them to write coherent messages about anything. It can be about, of course, most of the time it's about business issues. But I find in my business dealings is that people really stand out if they're articulate, if they can actually write sentences and actually get them presented properly. I think it's something that we, in business schools, we should really think about is, are we giving every individual the feedback they need to become good communicators? Because business leadership is a lot about communications.
Thank you for your time for this interview. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you. Good seeing you again.